talking about, again, the dangers of untreated diabetes. The dangers of untreated diabetes. What it is to have diabetes and not treat it or do anything about it, or potentially do something but not really follow through with what you got to do. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today throughout the stream. And hopefully we can change your mind to do certain things in different ways so that you will not go through some of the things we're going to be mentioning today. All right. So with that being said, let's move on. And today we are going to be talking about untreated diabetes. What is even untreated diabetes? We just want to make sure that when we say untreated diabetes, at least we know what that is. So in a brief, summary, we're going to talk about what it means to have untreated diabetes. And then after that, we're going to be dealing with heart disease and stroke as one of the first things that could happen. We're going to explain how that happens and how to avoid that. So that is one thing there. And then
we will continue with vision impairment. So if you are not able to manage your diabetes as expected, or if you're walking around without even knowing that you have diabetes, definitely the complication that comes with it is vision impairment. And also we will continue with how it can affect your kidneys.
How it can affect your kidneys. Come on, man, that's one thing. And then from there, we are going to move on to nerve damage, how untreated diabetes or poorly managed diabetes can lead to nerve damage, what scientists would say neuropathy. And then we're going to be going straight into infections and wound healing, how untreated diabetes can lead to several infections and also delayed wound healing.
Then I think we will end with how we can manage, how we can prevent this complication from happening, and what are the things that we can do differently so that we won't find ourselves getting this complication.
All right. Come on, man. Hit the like button and share the stream with folks. All right, so with that being said, we are going to zoom straight onto our discussion. And as we said, before we actually move forward, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, you can tell us that we are showing you something that says subscribe, hit the like button, probably comment if possible. And if you're watching on TikTok, I would also encourage you to do the same. We are going to be giving you a lot of health information today. So if you don't care, just hit the like button, share, and thumbs up, or whatever it is that you could do on TikTok also.
And if you're watching us on Facebook, you can also make us stars by giving us stars.
Oh, come on, man. We could be stars. I mean, whatever else you could give us on TikTok, we could also take it. We are new to TikTok, so I think you guys can give money on TikTok, right? We could take that too. Come on, man. All right. We could take that. All right. So with that being said, we are moving straight to our first item on our agenda, and that is what's untreated diabetes. It sounds very self-explanatory, but what is it? I'm going to start off.
Yeah, untreated diabetes. So I know some people are walking around the percentage of people that have diabetes and they are not aware of it. The number is very high. So if you don't know your status, where you are when it comes to diabetes, and you have diabetes, you are considered untreated diabetic, right? So if you have not been diagnosed, but you have the diabetes, then you're considered untreated because you don't know.
You don't know, so
and
you're
because
definitely
you don't
not doing
know,
anything
you are
about
not
it.
treating it. And also, if you are diagnosed and you are aware that you have diabetes, all right, but you are not meeting your goals, every 3 months you have to do your blood work. And if you do your blood work, your A1C is above the chart. The normal is, if you are diabetic, you are expected to be below 7. So if you are above 7, and almost every time you do your blood work, you are above 7, it means that it's not well managed. So these complications that we are going to talk about may affect you. And the last group of people is non-adherents. They know that they have the diabetes, all right, but what they are supposed to be doing when it comes to medication, they are not taking their medications, or they are living in denial. The doctor have told them that they do, but they just want to careless. they don't want to do anything about it, then it means that it's untreated. And if you stay untreated for so long, or if your blood glucose is so high for so long, then definitely these complications will show.
Definitely. So that is what we are talking about. Now you can share your comments in the comment section if you're watching, and we will be careful to see them and to respond if it's something that demands response. But basically, that is what untreated diabetes is. So you may not even know that you have diabetes and you are walking around. If you are walking around with diabetes and it's not treated, of course, then you are not, controlling it. And so it's untreated. And so you fall under the category of people who are called as untreated diabetics, or people who are not managing them well. So in the interest of time, I think she has exhausted that point. So we're just going to go ahead and talk about the first thing that happens to people who don't treat their diabetes, or who don't know they are diabetic and they're walking around untreated. So some of the things that will happen, the major thing that will happen, the first one is heart diseases and strokes. Brain stroke. If you don't treat your diabetes, chances are that you are going to end up with a stroke or with some form of a disease related to your heart. And so that is the first thing that we want to talk about. Now, there's a lot of things to say about that, but in summary, I would just say, maybe I'll leave you to chime in if there's something else to add. But definitely what happens is that if you don't treat your diabetes, or if you're walking around not knowing you have diabetes and your blood sugars are very high, the high glucose levels in your body cause damage to your arteries. So your blood vessels become compromised. And with that compromise, I think I'll have a slide to show. Unfortunately, those on TikTok may not see it, but you can always switch to YouTube and join us at Dr. Oteng, Droteng, and join the live. Then you will see the slide that I'm going to show here. But definitely what will happen is your blood vessels are just being damaged because of high glucose levels. And because of that, what we call atherosclerosis is happening. You have buildup of plaques in your arteries. The plaques that are there have their own things that they are doing. And I'll let you say a few to that and probably come back. But suffice to say that if you have high glucose levels that are up the roof and you're not doing anything about it, you are damaging your blood vessels, which will definitely affect your heart and eventually lead to either a heart attack, heart failure, or a stroke. So that's just the same. You want to throw in anything?
So you mentioned that it causes atherosclerosis. It just means that hardening of the blood vessels.
Hardening of the blood vessels. Come on, man, you're breaking it down. Yes, keep going.
So if the blood vessels are hardened, it means that it doesn't relax as a regular or normal blood vessels. And because of that, your heart have to pump harder, in order for the blood flow to be smooth, because it's hardened. You are not producing enough nitric acid for it to relax, for your blood pressure to be controlled. So this situation can cause the heart to work harder and harder, and that can spike your blood pressure. So having diabetes, you are also affecting the level of the blood pressure because of the atherosclerosis, And when that happens, we have the cells being affected, or inside of the tube.
Inside your blood vessels, what we call the endothelium of your blood vessels.
So they're all compromised. So if the heart is pumping so hard, then it's likely that there will be a plug that will get loose. And when it gets loose and it starts traveling through to your brain, then that will lead to what? It blocks any of the vessels, it will lead to stroke. So this is a huge complication that is very common with people that do not control their blood sugar.
Oh, come on, man. Man, that is what's up. And that's a sad case. Why? Because, you have something that you could control. we're talking about people who are not controlling their blood sugar levels, people who have given up on their diabetes medications, people who think that it's too much of a hassle. Just let me eat and die and go. Those people who are basically doing nothing about their health. They don't even attend, annual, visits to their doctors to be checked or to be tested to see if they even have high blood sugar levels. Now, what this is going to happen, what this is going to do is what we have articulated here. You can have a damage to your vessels. And like she said, a plaque that is formed because of too much blood sugar can just break off and itself block a vessel, a tiny vessel in your brain or on your heart. The heart vessels that we call coronary arteries, small vessels on the heart. Like this one that we are showing, the blue vessels there is supposed to be red. The blue is the ones that carry blood away. But basically what it means is it's going to block it and stop blood supply to your heart or to the part of the brain that it is large. It can also be breaking off and then a clot will form and then that clot will break off and go and do the same damage. So definitely if you have diabetes and you are not doing anything about it, you are just waiting for a disaster to happen. And it is sad to see that some people have died young. We hear that, they were not sick. Sometimes these people may have had high blood sugar levels that they did not even know. And their arteries may have been compromised. And all that needed to happen is a clot that happened one time, and that clot broke off and either blocked their brain to cause a massive stroke or blocked a heart artery or coronary artery and cause a heart attack. So definitely we don't want to be in that position. We just want to make sure that if you don't know your state as whether or not you have high blood sugar, you got to find out. And then if you have diabetes, we are not here to scare you. We just want to encourage you to ensure that you are taking your medications and following through all the things that you got to do with your doctor, your pharmacist, your nurses, or whoever is taking care of you, so that you don't eventually get to that complications that we're talking about, heart disease, heart attacks, and strokes for that matter. I think that is an exhaustive thing, yeah. So with that being said, we're going to go again to the next one that we think is important to talk about, and that is vision impairment. So if you have uncontrolled diabetes, this is a nice way of saying it, but definitely it can lead to blindness. That's the fact of life. If you have uncontrolled diabetes, if you know you have diabetes and you're not doing anything about it, you are just waiting to be blind at some point. It starts off with vision impairment, which is basically slow progression of poor sight, not seeing well, blurry vision and stuff like that. But eventually the end result is if you don't arrest the situation by taking care of your diabetes, you may eventually become blind. And I'll leave Gifty to tell us a little bit about that, Riley.
Yeah, so if your blood glucose is so high for so long, it's likely that it's going to affect the blood vessels. I think we talked about blood vessels with the first one, the cardiovascular effect, right? And now we are saying that if the sugar is not well controlled, it's going to affect the blood vessels, this time in the retina, eye, in the retina. That's the back part of the eye, right? So the vessels that help you for the retina to work properly so that you can see is going to be damaged because of uncontrolled blood sugar. So definitely it will get to a point that it may lead to
vision impairment
and even loss altogether. It can be blindfold. So you should find ways and means to control the sugar, because having high sugar continuously for too long affects the blood vessels, and this time it can affect the blood vessels in the retina, which can affect your vision.
Oh, come on, man. That is what we don't want to happen, unfortunately. So we are telling you this not to scare you, but we don't want you to get there. And so we give you the information and then you take it and act on it. And I'm pretty sure that if you have, joined us and watching, even up to this point, you care about yourself. And so you're going to take action and make sure you don't get that far. And if you're diabetic, it's not a doom thing. It is encouraging you to make sure that you control your diabetes. So with that being said, I think we are going to go on to the next one. But I think we got a comment here. Let's put up the comment. A comment says, Helen Manson says, great topic. Thank you, Helen, for that great topic. Thank you. And I'm pretty sure there are some comments from TikTok, but I can't read them now. So thank you for also bringing your comments on TikTok. All right. All right. So we are going to move on to the next topic. And I'm pretty sure that is
The
another.
eye video.
Oh, we didn't show anything about the eye. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So that's the beautiful eye, blue eyed, but the back yellow wall is what we were talking about. You see the lines, the red blood cells there. I mean, the vessels there, the arteries there in the back. Those are the ones we are talking about. And as a matter of fact, to be honest with you, we talked to a one eye specialist, Dr. Fua Nate, and I think over an hour, we exhausted this topic about how diabetes affects your retina if you don't manage it well. And so you can go to again to our video, to our channel, subscribe at Dr. Oteng, Dr. space Oteng on YouTube and search for that. You're going to be able to see that video at its full length. She talks about the breakdown, the stages of retinal damage due to high uncontrolled blood sugar in your blood as a diabetic. So you can check that video out if you want more information about that. But for now, we are going to move forward onto the next thing that uncontrolled diabetes would do. All right. So the next thing that uncontrolled diabetes will do to you is it causes kidney damage. Kidney damage. And I'll start off with this also. So basically, what happens in kidney damage is that the small blood vessels again in your kidneys become compromised. Prolonged or persistent high blood sugar levels cause the kidneys to be compromised, and we call it nephropathy. What is basically happening is that because of the extent of high blood sugar levels and the fact that it's been that way for a long time, you begin to excrete proteins in your urine, and it starts off slowly. As a first stage, it starts off with a little bit of proteins in your urine, because your kidneys have become compromised and they cannot take out all the proteins that came through it. So you begin to show proteinuria basically in your urine. And so the way that happens is it can be reversed or potentially stopped. I don't know so much about reversal, especially if you have not treated your diabetes or your high blood sugar levels over years. It may not be reversed, but at least you can stop it from progressing or slow the progression so that you don't get to full-blown kidney disease. And so that is how it begins. Prolonged, uncontrolled high blood sugar levels leads to kidney damage, starting off as microalbuminuria or protein in your urine. You want to add anything to that?
Yeah, so like you're saying, it's stages. So the first stage is when they find the protein in your urine. So monitoring is very important. So if you are diabetic, you have to be monitored closely by your doctor by doing regular checkups every 3 months, blood work, so that they can catch it before it gets to the point that it gets to a point that is completely damaged. So the first stage is when they detect that. They have to be careful with your kidney. You have to be careful with the kidneys. So the first stage, as you were saying, is when the protein is detected in the urine, right? So sometimes if you are at that stage, there are certain medications that you cannot take, that you have to be extra careful the way that you combine medications, because most of the medication can be processed through your kidneys. So if you're not careful and the cells are affected or your kidney is compromised, it may cause the damage to be hastened, to the point that you may get to the end stage. And I'm sure nobody want to get there, because you have to go through dialysis, you have to go to kidney transplant, which is all not fun. So controlling your diabetes is very important, to the point that you should be monitored closely. And when it comes to maybe natural substance, traditional medicine, you have to be even extra careful because some of the medications can really damage your kidneys and may make you even get to that end stage quickly, in addition to uncontrolled diabetes. So you should be monitored closely if you are diabetic, and especially if it's not well controlled.
All right, all right, all right, all right. All right. And I think that is a very important statement there. Some people just want to do herbals, I don't believe in traditional medicine. I believe in herbals, and I ordered some stuff from this place, and I heard somebody took this. They were diabetic, and when they took it, it went away, bro. It's not true. Come on, man. It's not true. It's not the best. So I would implore you humbly that please follow with your doctor, your trained doctors. Don't take anything on the side, because if you're already diabetic and somebody is giving you some herbals and saying that this will work, you don't know how it affects your kidneys, of course, on other organs, but especially the kidneys, because it's a place where most of the drugs, are excreted. And also, if you are you have diabetes, you don't know, or you are not controlling it, and you are eating meat or protein so much, you are even further putting your kidneys under undue stress. So first of all, you are not taking care of your diabetes, and you are eating proteins so much, too much proteins. Already, you are peeing proteins through your urine, and you are also eating too much proteins. You are making what is an already bad situation even worse. So you got to be careful, and especially those who try to use traditional herbals to treat diabetes. That's not going to be helpful to you in this regard. So that is one thing that we will also let you know. And then I think with that, we could probably move forward with the next thing that we want to do. What is, do you have anything else to add to it?
Good.
Okay. All right. So the next thing then is nerve damage. Uncontrolled diabetes or uncontrolled high blood sugar levels would lead to nerve damage. And we call it neuropathy. So nerve damage, you want to start that? Or?
Yeah, mostly it's the peripheral neuropathy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your nerves, mostly on your legs and your extremities, your hands, they, because of the diabetes, or we can say because of the uncontrolled diabetes, it's such that most of the nerves are damaged to the point that you cannot really feel things as well. So not controlling it, that is something that may be expected. Your hands, the tip of your hands,
tingling and the numbness.
the numbness, you feel numbness at the tip of your fingers, and your legs sometimes it's numb, you can't really feel it, or you can feel like there is no good flow of oxygen and blood in your legs, to the point that it feels so numb that it will get to a point that you have to take a break when you're walking because it's not well controlled. So that neuropathy is real. People with diabetes can testify that this is not fun. So controlling your blood sugar, your blood glucose is very important.
All right. And then we also want to add to it that not controlling your blood sugar levels. It's the way it works is, again, too much sugar in your blood damage your nerves. So your nerves are being damaged by the persistently high blood glucose levels that you have in your blood. That is what happens. So as soon as you can get the blood glucose levels under control, then the nerve damage goes down. So that is what it is. Even with diabetes, with people who have been diagnosed, who are doing, regular visits to their doctors and checking their glucose levels and stuff, as soon as they bring their sugars down, sometimes, even if it doesn't disappear, it resolves. And then the key thing is it also slows the progression to that point. And so if you are diabetic and you already have neuropathy, we understand that it is possible to still have it there. But if you control your sugars well, if you manage your blood glucose well, you may slow down the progression, because you can progress to a place where we call focal neuropathy. Gifty told you about the peripheral neuropathy, where it is, on the tips of your hands and your legs and stuff. But when you progress to the focal neuropathy, you are basically going to be completely in pain. Your whole arm, a nerve supplied to your whole arm can be damaged, and you can have pain just in one arm. Always pain, just one arm. or it could be in your belly somewhere. It could be in your leg, one place. It could be in your head. It could be in your neck. Severe pain that always bothers you. Why? Because there is complete damage to the nerve that is supplying the muscles in that area. And so you may have peripheral neuropathy now and you're dealing with it. Keep dealing with it, but make sure you still establish a better management for your blood glucose. Because when it comes down, you're not just going to make it better what you already have, but you may reverse or at least slow down the progression to where people who have complete uncontrolled diabetes are having serious focal neuropathy, which is more even worse than the peripheral neuropathy. You have anything else to add? All right. So with that being said, we can move on to the next thing that we have about uncontrolled diabetes and the dangers. And the next thing is going to be infections and delayed wound healing. You want to start that?
Yeah, infections. So with that, it is noted that people with diabetes or uncontrolled blood sugar are prone to infections. So infections are like skin infections, UTIs, and other infections like upper respiratory infection. You're prone to it because being diabetic make your immune system compromised. So if your immune system is compromised, it's likely that any little thing that passes around, you catch it. So flu season, you are easily compromised. You get flu. UTI, as a female, you realize that you have reoccurrence of UTI. Almost you treat it and another one show up. It's like it may be that your sugar levels are not well controlled. So being diabetic make you more prone to infections because your immune system is compromised.
My goodness, your immune system is compromised because of persistently high blood sugar levels. And the other thing is that apart from the infections, I think you talked about infections a lot. Apart from the infections and the wound healing, in everybody, how God has made us is that if you get a cut, or if you get some wound, some cells are mobilized to go to the side, which we call inflammatory phase. They will go there and try and capture anything there that may cause infection, just to make sure that you are fine. But in a diabetic person, that particular phase does not stop. In somebody whose blood sugar is controlled, even if they are diabetic, if their blood sugar is managed properly, in this person, the cells will go there, do their work, and then they stop. And then the different case of what we call proliferative phase begins. So new cells are built up. You have collagen and other cells are built, both the tissues are built there so that the wound will close and heal. But in somebody who has no control on their blood sugar levels, it will just be continuous inflammation and the wound does not heal. And that is why in some people, we have to actually cut off or amputate some people because the wound will not heal. And if you leave it, infections will travel all the way to the bloodstream. And you don't want that to happen. So what will happen then is we just have to cut off their foot or their leg because you don't want infections to go through the entire blood system, blood circulatory system. So make sure that if you are not controlling blood sugars, if a doctor has told you you have high blood sugar and you are playing with it, you don't do that anymore because all it takes is something to cut you and then you are in danger. And the other thing, as we can transition to how to prevent it, if you are also diabetic, we encourage you that, of course, keep your blood sugars low. Work with your doctor or your pharmacist or whoever is helping you to make sure your blood sugar is low. But apart from that, you also have to have annual visits to the foot doctor to make sure that there are nothing there that you have not missed. Because sometimes along with the peripheral neuropathy, you may not even feel it if you knock or hit your foot against something. And then there will be a cut that you miss because you didn't feel it. But if you have annual consistent visits to your foot doctor, they will take care of your foot, but maybe not even 1 year, but multiple times in a year, just to make sure that everything is on point as far as your feet are concerned. And then you prevent any amputations in the future. But if you are not controlling your blood sugars at all, as for you, you got to start from scratch. Come on, man. You've been told that you are diabetic. You know, I knew somebody who was told that they are diabetic. They didn't want anybody to know, so they lived like they have no diabetes, just drinking all the cokes, drinking all the sodas around their friends, and just living like anybody. You know, to be short. And that is not what you got to do, because it will catch up with you. It definitely. This person I'm talking about eventually had a stroke and he had a heart attack and then he died. Why? Because those things were not taken care of initially, because they didn't take it serious. They just thought that, oh, you know, it's diabetes. My mom had it. Yeah, but you got to take care of yourself, especially now that we have all these advancements in medicine. If you decide to make things right, it will be right. And that is the reason why we are coming live, not to scare you, but we want you to be adequately responsible for the things that concern you and don't leave it to chance. That's what we are about.
So are you sure that the person that ignored that diagnosis, maybe they were praying it off?
Oh, come on, man. They were praying it off.
Yes. Because we believe in healing, right?
Yeah.
We are Christians, we believe in healing. So maybe the person in his heart genuinely wants healing by praying it off. So the person may ignore that diagnosis, live like nothing had happened, live their life, because what? Life is too short. And they will live their life, and maybe these complications may catch up with them.
And that
so
made
such a
life too
person,
short for them too. Just to say, you know, but I mean, I hear what you're saying. That's a very good point, because some people, the belief system of some people inform their choices.
right?
And we just want to let you know that, you know, especially if you're a believer, there's nothing in scripture that says that when you're sick, you don't seek help. You don't seek help. You seek help, you pray, or you do all the other things you believe in, but still, you got to seek help. You got to do the things that are in the physical and do the things that are also spiritual, you know. So you don't say that because I believe in this, I believe in that, no, it doesn't work like that. You know, you got to do what you got to do in terms of being a human being. Instead of, you know, you're a human being, right? Do what the human beings do and leave the spiritual for the spiritual. So you pray to God, all right? I hope that he heals you and do all the stuff that you ask him. But he also expects you, as a matter of fact, to take care of yourself. And I think when we wrap up, we'll be actually able to tell people more about what our recommendations are in terms of what to do to prevent it. But it's a good point. You can pray off your diabetes. You can pray off hypertension. You can wish off anything, and nobody will give you that. Some people also think that somebody gave it to them. Come on, man. Nobody gives that. Nobody can give you that. The only things that can be given are sexually transmitted diseases and flus and coughs, because that one we exchange it. But for somebody to live somewhere and cause you to have diabetes, it doesn't work like that. No. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't. They don't do that.
Yeah, they buy it for you, you know.
They say they buy it. From where? No, come on, man. It doesn't work like that. No, don't believe that. So, I mean, watch your belief systems and believe the things that are natural, believe the supernatural, but don't extend certain things to, to another level. It doesn't work like that. And so, yes, make sure you can be praying 100 hours a day if there is. But if you watched our show from the beginning, what leads to diabetes? If you haven't, you can go back. What the risk factors are, and you have those risk factors, and you don't do anything about those risk factors, and you wish or pray them off, you are joking, because that's not how God did it. He didn't do it like that. He did it differently. We have changed our lifestyle and now are living with the consequences of our lifestyle. Some of us too have inherited certain genes that predisposes us to certain diseases. Right. So you can't just wish them off. You got to do the right things that will make sure that you don't get to be a victim of some of those things that we are talking about. We got 2 comments that I want to post up here. I think I showed this earlier, but I didn't say anything. Samuel Intose, good education from Facebook. Thank you, bro. Thank you for saying that. He is up late, because what time is he? He's in the GMT time zone. So for him to be up and watching, we are grateful. And then we have another one also from Max, Maxwell Adomaku says, good job. Thank you, bro. Thank you, my brother. All right. And so that is that for you. If you have any comments or questions, don't hesitate to Send it wherever you are watching from. You could be watching from TikTok. The first time you're on TikTok live, we don't know what's happening over there. We just see some people are watching. But just bring your comments and we will talk about it. We will respond them later. But if you want to have the full experience of our channel, make sure that after the show, you go to Dr. or Dr. Oteng on youtube.com. Just as you see it on the TikTok channel. And you will be able to see how our full show came up and potentially also ask questions and comment there. Also, don't forget to subscribe while you are there. All right, let's see what else we got on the live to share. I'm not sure if there's anything else. But yeah, so now we are going to the prevention and intervention. This is where we already actually started. I think Gifty made us go into it with that question. So how do you prevent and how do you intervene if you have uncontrolled or untreated diabetes? You want to start there?
Yes. So you may have been diagnosed with diabetes. There is no guarantee that you are going to end up with these complications if you are able to control the numbers. So I think the first thing that you have to do if you're diagnosed is lifestyle modification.
Lifestyle modifications. Come on, man. I like that. The first thing is lifestyle modifications. Yes, right.
Yeah. So you have to change the way that you've been living your life. You're not going to live your life anyhow anymore because of the diagnosis. You're not going to be in denial when you get the diagnosis.
Be in denial. Some people say, I refuse it. Well, it's there.
You cannot refuse it.
You can't just refuse it. If it's there, it's there. Just do something about it.
You just have to take charge. You have to take control. It's your life, and you make it how you want to. So you get the diagnosis. It's okay. That's not the end of the world. You just have to take charge by changing your lifestyle. So the main one is diet. That is the big one that you can control. With our discussion, I think the earlier parts we talked about the ones that you are able to change or manage and the uncontrolled one. This one, the diet, you can do something about it. You know that high sugar mostly come from the carbohydrates and the simple sugars. So you are going to change your diet in such a way that you are going to lower the amount of carbohydrates that you take. So you're going to take your diet, change it around if you're not doing all the right things. I think we talked about diet earlier on. So you have to watch your diet, the kinds of foods that you eat, the portion size, and also the timing of the time that you eat also count. The activity. Are you active or are you sedentary? You don't do anything. You sit at one place and there is no activity. So diet, and exercise, being active is the first one that you can prevent these complications from going on. So if you are doing all this, it means that you will be able to manage the numbers. You'll be able to manage the levels of the sugar. So I will start by saying diet and exercise.
Okay. All right. I like that. Diet and exercise for you. I mean, if you are a regular on this channel, you know that we always mention that because that's what you can control. You can control the fact that your mom or your dad had diabetes or they had heart disease and they have the genes, they passed it to you. You can't refuse it. You already got it, bro. Come on, man. You've got it. You've got the genes for that disease. You can't refuse it. But there's something you can do to refuse the disease that comes from the genes. And that is by changing your lifestyle, and which Gifty has mentioned, diet and exercise. Now, I would also add that some of us take things for granted. Some of us don't go to see any doctor until you are sick, until you wake up one day or you go to bed one day and you are waking up multiple times to go to the restroom to pee. And it's like, what's this? And even sometimes you ignore it because you say, oh, because I'm growing, or I drank too much water. Come on, that's not the reason. And so what I'm getting at is you have to develop the attitude of being frequent at your doctors. Some of you have insurances, some of you don't. There are places where we are broadcasting from the US. There are places, even if you don't have insurance, even if you are not documented, there are places, Catholic charities, that will help you manage some of these diseases for free. So it's because you haven't taken the steps yet. If you want to do it, you can do it. And so the third thing that I'll add to what Gifty said is to be frequent at your doctors. Make sure that you are being tested. If you go to the doctor, you're over 35, you are 40, oh, come on, ask them, I need to know my blood sugar levels. I need to know my blood cholesterol levels. And make sure your doctor is doing it for you. Some of the doctors, in fact, they are pushed to see more patients, in a day. And so they may forget to do those tests, but ask them that, I want to know if my blood sugars are on point. And then apart from that, if you are also already diagnosed as diabetic, like Gifty earlier on said, it is not the end of the world. In fact, it is the beginning of a new world. Come on, man. Yes. It is the beginning of a new world in which you live with more exercise, different lifestyle, better food. Yeah. No more sodas, no more white rice and fufus and yams and yuccas. Beginning to eat better leaves and, salmons and, oh, come on, man. So look at it from the positive side, and then make sure that you are doing the right thing. So that is what I will add. Frequent at your doctors. Do not give up on yourself and say that it is too hard. And also, today I was talking to a friend who made me so happy because, he is dealing with his issues with this disease, and he is on top of the numbers. So when the numbers are high, he's concerned. He's beginning to think about, I got to change doctors because this thing is not working. And that is what we encourage you to do. You don't just, I take your medicine. And some people even say that when I remember, sometimes I forget. Come on, we don't do that here. No. We don't do that. We encourage you to take it as you are directed. Because remember when we started, we said that one reason why some people's diabetes are not treated is because they don't take their medications as they are directed. They don't see their doctors. And so if you are going to be able to do those things, we tell you, we can promise you that you'll become better. You may not get rid of it completely, but you will live with it in a way that, will not affect you in a negative way. Some people have lived with diabetes for 40 years, 50 years, and they are still fine. But some people get it in 5 years and they are falling apart. Why? Because of your own choices. Like I'm saying, the person that I knew who was still drinking soda, even though the doctor had told them, and they did not, stop. They did not change their lifestyle. Their sugars were not even checked. They didn't check their sugars to know if it's working. They refuse to see the doctors when it's necessary. No exercise, always in the office sitting down. You could be doing that if you wanted. And then these complications will be what you want. But I believe since you watch this, that's not going to happen. Come on, if you agree, hit yes. I agree that nobody watching us is going to let themselves fall apart because we know that we can do it and we will not wish it away. We will do our part, and with the blessings of God, with the help from on high, we can achieve all that we have missed. And so that is what we will say. That is what we think. I don't know. So you talked about diet, you talked about exercise. I talked about seeing your doctors more often to get it controlled, and also not giving up on yourself. What else can we add to that?
Yeah, I think you said something about monitoring.
And monitoring too.
So, like I said earlier, you have to take charge. It's your life, right? So I know that people with diabetes, they are encouraged to do testing every morning. Some people are encouraged to do twice a day or once a day. The machine that we use to test is available everywhere. If you have insurance, the doctor have to write you a prescription and you'll be able to get the machine and the test strips and the lancets that you need. All that you have to do is to test, to be aware of the numbers. Like you said, your friend is aware of the numbers so that you can make certain changes. We know that sometimes you have to do the blood work. Some people are scheduled every 3 months that they have to get their A1C number. So we are saying that you should be below 7. If you are able to take it day by day by controlling the numbers daily, it's likely that when the 3 months is due, your A1C is going to be on point because you don't wait for the 3 months to come to know the number because you are able to monitor it daily. And because of advancements, now we have this freestyle Libre that you can just attach it and you can read your numbers at every point in time during the day. Some people can see the numbers on their phone, so you have to take interest so that if you realize that the medication that you're taking, that you are very adherent, you are taking as directed, the numbers are still not being controlled, and you are eating right, you are exercising, you are doing all that you have to do, but it seems the numbers are not going down, that's not the end of the world too. You have to let your doctor know. Sometimes they have to up the dose. Sometimes they have to add a second medication. So you have to be actively involved in controlling the numbers. So whatever it takes for you to be able to bring down the numbers is being encouraged. So know where you are every day, so that at the end of the 3 months you go for your checkup, your A1C is on point. So doing that continuously as long as you can, it's likely that these complications is not going to catch up with you, because the blood glucose are going to be on point. So monitoring is very important. You have to. We were talking about it, and I said this can be very draining, because every now and then you are thinking about the numbers. You are worried about what to eat, but being consistent will help you to avoid certain foods, because you are aware of it, and you know that if you eat this particular food, the numbers shoot up. So you get rid of that kind of food, and you stay on the foods that will control the sugar levels. So being active and monitoring it daily will help you make it stabilize to the point that the complications can be pushed as back as far from you as possible. Then you can live your life.
All right. My goodness. Now, I also have another comment from our brother Wilfred. Wilfred is giving us a lot of claps. Come on, man. Thank you so much. Come on. Thank you so much, Wilfred. All right. And so that is what our show is about today. We don't want anybody to fall into any complications of any disease for that matter. But the cheat code also is that if you haven't watched any of the videos on this series, today is the last video on this season 4. We talked about diabetes and your diet, and this is the 11th video. And so if you are just joining us today and you saw this, you can go back to our channel and look for the Life and Health Show podcast on YouTube, or under Dr. Oteng, Oteng, Dr.Oteng, and start binging all the diabetes episodes, so that you probably understand more, how to prevent it and all that good stuff. So with that being said, I don't know if you have anything else to add.
Yeah, with the medication again,
Okay.
because we are pharmacists, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so, and some people have this idea that if the doctor put them on insulin, it means that's the end of them. That is not true. So sometimes if the medication is not controlling it well, your doctor may suggest insulin, injecting yourself with the insulin. That is okay, especially if you are around, you live in your house, and you are able. That really will bring down the numbers very well. So whatever it takes for you to control the numbers is what we are encouraging you of. Don't ignore it. Don't just avoid it. Don't look away. Just do something about it, and that will definitely help you.
All right, and that's actually a very important point. Sometimes too, we will add the insulin and bring the sugar down, especially if it's very high in the beginning. I mean, if you go to the doctors now, or if you're found on your bed or in your room collapsed because of high blood sugar, and you go there, you won't have any chance to take oral pills. They will give you insulin. And if that's not the case, or you're found somewhere with 500, 400 or 300, the doctors may suggest insulin for the beginning. So sometimes they will stop it along the way, but we have to bring your blood glucose down immediately, however high it is. And then from there, after they have found that you are able to produce your own insulin, we will add the medications that may help you to taper off the insulin. So yes, you may have to use insulin at some point, but then again, even if you have to use it all the time, so what? It's your life here, And the good thing is you don't stand in public and use it for everybody to see. You use it in the comfort of your home. And these days, there are even newer medications that you inject only once a week. We have Ozempic. You inject once, I'm telling you, once a week. and all that it takes is you following through with that. If your insurance will pay for it. I mean, we mentioned a lot of things that you could be doing, testing daily. Some insurance companies may not pay for it. We mentioned a device that you can attach that you check it with your phone. Your insurance may not pay. It doesn't mean that's the end of the world. You could still find cheaper alternatives to monitor your blood glucose. In some countries, to be honest with you, because we are on TikTok and other places, some people may be watching this and they'll be like, what are you talking about? Checking my blood sugar every day? We don't do that. In some countries, they see the doctors every 3 months or every month for the doctor's office to check the blood glucose for them. They don't have the ability to even find out how their glucose is on a daily basis. But if that's the case, your lifestyle modifications and your medications are your go-to things. You do the things that you can do, and then make sure that when it's a month or 3 months, you go and have them check it. So whatever your situation is, giving up is the worst way. Just make sure that you take advantage of whatever you can use to bring those sugars down. And again, all the good stuff we talked about, losing weight. If you cut down on your weight through exercise and diet, intermittent fasting, eating veggies and grains, and cutting out the starch. Last week episode we showed you some foods that you should completely avoid. No, and we allowed some people to comment on those foods, and we all agree those foods are no good. You're eating pizza, you're in your 30s, 40s, you order a box of pizza and it's gone. Come on, man. You can't be doing those things. So watch those videos too and see. Again, just make sure you subscribe to our channel if you are not already subscribed, and on Dr. Oteng, Oteng, as it's saying on the screen.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to watch more of the things we shared. We can't share them all now, but definitely do something.
Yeah, and another suggestion is you mentioned that some people will forget to take their medication, and they'll be like, oh, I was able to remember only twice a week. You can set on your phone. Now everybody has a phone. Set a reminder. Set a reminder that at this time I take my medication, and you take it regularly. And we also have pill box, right?
Pill boxes, yeah.
Pill boxes can also serve as a reminder, or you put it in a place that you will remember every time. If it's something that you take it with food, it's right at your dining table. You sit down, you eat, and you take your medication. So you can attach something with taking the medication in such a way that you are able to remember to take it. Because I think we talked about how medication works in our system. So if you know how it works, you see the importance of taking your medication. So set a reminder, make an attachment of lifestyle with your medication so that you know that at this time I do this. And because of that, you take your medication regularly. And by doing so, you are able to control your sugar levels.
All right. That's what's up. So now we're about to close the show, but we just want to tell you what we have for next week. So this season of diabetes ended today, with this today being the last episode for the season 4 of diabetes. We're going to start season 5, and we are thinking of talking about hypertension or high blood pressure. So from next week, we're going to be talking about high blood pressure and hypertension. And I have a target physician that I already hinted last time that I'm going to call him to be on here. So I'm going to get him. I don't know whether it's going to be possible next week, but we're definitely going to have some resource people. And we're going to delve deeper into hypertension, how to prevent it, the complications also, and some of the foods that we can eat to avoid our blood pressure from going up, and also avoid high, cardiovascular diseases, strokes and heart attacks eventually. So make a date with us next week, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern, and then we will roll together, see if there's any new comments. There's no new comments. So with that being said, anything? All right, so we are good to go. Make sure you have subscribed if you haven't already, especially if you're watching from TikTok. Follow us. We're going to try and put our live shows also every 7 p.m. Eastern time on our TikToks, and also other. But TikTok is very new for us. So if you want to join us on YouTube, that will also be great. Just make sure that you join at Dr. Oteng, and you can see my beautiful face. Just click and subscribe, and you'll be notified when we go live. So I think that is that for today. Thanks again for joining us. And we really do appreciate your company. We hope that more comments will be flowing through even when we close. So with that being said, we will say, beloved, we wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers.
I think
Thanks.
Leroy said something.
Leroy is here. Let's put Leroy's comment on here. Come on. Leroy says, thank you, Doc. Thanks, Doc. All right. Thank you, Leroy. You promised you return, and you have come. Thank you for coming. Hope to see you again next week. God bless you all. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.